Straight men, the following may offend you, especially if you have a fragile ego, but it will make you better in bed. Unless you've been living under a rock or a rainbow, you've probably heard the scientifically verified fact that in heterosexual sex, women reach orgasm less frequently than men do. Women and girls are taught from a young age that sexual pleasure is immoral, it makes them dirty. They're taught to be self-aware and performative. It makes it hard for them to let go during sex. They're taught that they're just supposed to do things that men like. All porn, for the most part, which is where most people get their sexual education, is based on men's preferences. It's a nightmare out there for women. And on top of that, you have young men who have only learned about sex from porn, and they did not learn any of the skills of emotional communication, vulnerability, listening, what makes women feel safe and comfortable and therefore able to have pleasurable sex. And since a feeling of safety in your nervous system is literally biologically required for those big, amazing, explosive orgasms that we all want, anything that makes her feel unsafe is getting in the way. In fact, according to the Cleveland Clinic, only 10% of women can easily achieve orgasm, which means that the other 90% are probably dealing with a good number of the things that I'm going to share with you inside of this video. In another study of heterosexual partners, 95% of men reported orgasm in their last sexual encounter, while only 65% of women did. But when women masturbate or have sex with other women, well, the numbers are a lot closer to that of men's. So obviously the problem is not women or that their clitorises are like complicated lock boxes. The problem is actually sex with men. It's actually the only factor that leads to women having less orgasms. If you've ever heard about the orgasm gap, I mean, that's what it is. 65 and 95, that is way different. Think about how that adds up over time. But as we bring more awareness and shine a light on these things, and as more men and women are really starting to put an emphasis on shared and mutual pleasure, things are starting to improve. And with that in mind, let's dive into my top 5 reasons that your partner isn't having orgasms and what we can do to close this orgasm gap. All right, starting with number 1, which is that she's afraid to let go. For all of the aforementioned reasons, women can have a hard time letting go in the bedroom. Honestly, you just cannot have an orgasm if you don't feel safe enough to fully let go and get out of your head. I mean, think about it. With all of the expectations placed on our bodies, our behaviors, our way of being, can you blame us? Like, what is safe about sex for the average woman? I mean, even sex ed teaches us that we need to be careful because if we have sex, we're putting ourselves at risk of becoming pregnant, at risk of having a sexually transmitted infection, not at risk of having pleasure and having fun and having orgasms and maybe having some of the benefits that come along with those. And literally, it's baked into us from day one. Our bodies are dangerous. Our bodies are capable of doing harm. Our bodies are things that have to be protected. Our bodies are sources of pain and of smells and of weirdness. Add on top of that we have an experience that we're supposed to look a certain way in order to be worthy of pleasure, that we're supposed to come across as sexy but not too much so, and beautiful and put together, like even in the throes of passion. This is a lot. In case you're thinking, well, but her physical body is not at risk. Like, why doesn't she feel safe necessarily? All of these things contribute to a nervous system that is strung out. You don't have to be being chased by a tiger for your nervous system to be in fight or flight. In fact, for many of us, just the thought of our taxes puts us in fight or flight. I'm sorry if I did that to you. Take a few deep breaths, maybe hit pause. I'll still be here. The truth is that many women have a habit of performing in the bedroom. They feel pressure to look and sound and do what they think they're supposed to do, rather than what feels true and what feels right for them. And with that in mind, no wonder they're having a hard time reaching orgasm. The safer that a woman feels to be herself, the more likely she'll have orgasm. And in fact, one of the reasons that women fake orgasms is because they want to make their male partner feel good about himself rather than say, I need 5 or 10 or 20 more minutes of oral sex or stimulation. I need to bring in a vibrator, etc., etc. Is this wildly insane? Yes, it is. Is it also the world that we live in today? Yes, it is. Now, if you're watching this, I bet that's because you actually want to please your partner. You actually want to provide pleasure to her. You actually want to make sure that every person you sleep with, or the only person that you sleep with, is having an authentic and amazing and comfortable and pleasurable time. If this is something that is plaguing your partner, how do you help her overcome it? Ultimately, it comes down to being safe yourself, making her feel that she can truly express whatever's there for her and you will be unmoved, that she can have big highs and low lows, that she can be a human that has a body that smells, that you don't see her as slutty because she's having sex with you. Whatever it is that has her feeling unsafe, the safer that you can be, the more over time that her nervous system will begin to align itself to yours. And you can actually create an experience for her of modeling what real safety is. And of course, her doing work with a somatic experiencing expert or a therapist or working this out with a coach will help as well. Number 2, she struggles with being present. Stress and anxiety, lack of safety, can be a formidable foe to the female orgasm. So if she's stressed about work, things going on in her personal life, health, family, finances, even something to do with your relationship, maybe she has things weighing on her, she may not be able to be present enough to tap into her body and reach orgasm. Safety is a little bit tricky to talk about, and so is managing stress and anxiety because it's such an individual experience. So maybe she needs to talk. Maybe she needs a shoulder to cry on. Maybe she needs to make more time for herself, to set herself up powerfully, to prepare. Maybe her symptoms are severe and she actually needs to go see a psychiatrist and have medication. I mean, some of these things are simply out of your control. The way that you can support is by doing things that decrease her immediate stress, helping her to reframe her stress, taking her out and away from her stress, like taking her on a date, getting some physical activity, going on a walk. And then of course, you can always help her by making a transition time between the rest of the world and sexy time, like foreplay, a lot of foreplay, touching her all over her body, breathing with her, giving her plenty of time, maybe even an hour to get out of her head and into her body. Running a bath is a great example. Giving a shoulder massage. Again, it doesn't have to be super complicated, just creating an environment that she has transition time before the sexy time. And of course, if you are contributing to her stress, no reason to make yourself wrong, just consider and do some self-reflection. What can I do to decrease the amount of stress that she experiences? Am I putting all of my stress on her? Am I putting all of my anxieties on her? Is she the only person who I go to vent about my work or my family? Maybe find someone else to vent to. Maybe join a men's group. Maybe join High Performance Male, my men's membership. Maybe get a coach. Maybe talk to your guy friends. Whatever it takes. Manage your own stress, don't add onto hers, and make plenty of time for her to release hers in ways that are healthy for you both. Number 3 reason she's not orgasming is because she needs more time. Women, we take time. In fact, I've asked women, what's the hottest thing a man ever said to you? And they've said, take your time. I love being here with you. I could do this to you all day. I don't care if you orgasm or not, I'm gonna be down here for a while. Hot. If your partner's not reliably reaching orgasm, take a look at how much time and quality, for what it's worth, that you're devoting to foreplay. Ask yourself this one question. Is she fully aroused by the time we start having sex? I don't mean like a little bit wet and into it and saying yes, okay, those are important, but I mean fully aroused. By the time that you put a finger or a tongue or yourself inside of her, is she gripping at you and saying, F me now, right now, put it in, I can't wait? If not, she may not be fully aroused. And when I say sex, I mean oral, digital, penetration. I mean all of it. Like, are you getting her so worked up and she's so eager and she has so much desire that she cannot wait for the next step inside of your sexual event? Or are you racing through seduction, racing through foreplay, and trying to just get to what you consider the main event? If that describes you, that may actually be the only tip that you need to know, but keep watching just in case. All right, number 4, she needs different stimulation. You've done the deeper psychological and relationship work and managed the stress, but still no big O. It is possible that your partner just needs a different type of stimulation. You know, not all clitorises are the same, and certainly not all vulvas are the same. What gets everyone off is different and unique, and just because the last woman you were with liked it this way doesn't mean that your current partner is going to. And by the way, just because her 20 or 30-year-old body enjoyed it one way doesn't mean her 40 or 50-year-old body is gonna like it the same. I mean, for most women, clitoral stimulation is necessary for orgasm with or without penetration. I mean, for many women, clitoral stimulation with penetration is actually what does the trick for them. And on top of that, the techniques for how to combine those two vary woman by woman. I mean, many women find that they can orgasm easiest by being on top. In fact, in a study from like a not completely legitimate sounding source, but I really liked it anyways, they found that women were more likely to reach orgasm when they were on top, and they reported a longer lasting orgasm on top as well. The reason for that likely is that not only the clitoris is being stimulated against your body, but they're also in control of the tempo, the pressure, the rhythm, and the speed. So when women are in charge of moving their body in a way that is pleasurable, they are more likely to have an orgasm. And if that doesn't dispel every rumor you've ever heard that men are supposed to be the givers of pleasure, I don't know what will. All women are different, and they all require different kinds of stimulation. So maybe just let her drive. And this is where communication comes in. Ask her what works for her. Get into the nuances. What worked this time that was different than last time? Explore all of the different possibilities. And do not hesitate to bring a toy into the bedroom. Vibrators are a fantastic way to increase her odds of reaching the big O. They are not your competition. They are your friends. They're one of the simplest solutions to a very big problem. So if they're gonna help close the orgasm gap, by all means, bring them in. And in fact, I want to thank the company Crave for sending me this. This is their Vesper vibrator. It's wearable vibrator jewelry. It's actually really strong and kind of surprisingly awesome. And that brings me to number 5, underlying physiological concerns. Some women are unable to reach orgasm due to what's physically going on inside of their body, in their vulva, inside of their vagina. And there are plenty of physiological reasons that sex may not feel good, let alone comfortable, let alone pleasurable enough for a woman to reach orgasm. According to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, as many as 75% of women will experience pain during sex at one point or another during their lives. That is crazy. If 75% of men were experiencing pain with sex, we would call that a national epidemic. Like, there would be government councils set up to study how to make sex feel better for men. 75% is a lot. Way too many. And don't get me wrong, our anatomy is different, okay? If you've ever had a UTI or a yeast infection, you know that there's chemistry that's got to get involved here, okay? The chances of things feeling not good seem to be somehow higher for our biological sex. I got it. But there's no reason that intercourse should make things worse, okay? And if you're experiencing pain during intercourse, I mean pain at all, if it hurts to have sex, the chance of you reaching orgasm is pretty fucking slim, right? There are lots of causes of pain during sex. I'm not gonna break them all down here, but they range from vaginal dryness, which can be fixed with more foreplay, some high quality lube, all the way to vaginal tearing, to vaginismus, to cysts, to more complex conditions like endometriosis, infections. If your partner is experiencing pain or discomfort, it is time to talk to a doctor or a pelvic floor physical therapist. I'm gonna say that one more time because a lot of people don't know that they exist. Pelvic floor physical therapist to figure out the best treatment plan. There are also some medications like anti-anxiety or antidepressant pills that make it more challenging for women to become aroused and orgasm. But again, if she's experiencing high levels of chronic stress, that may be the best way for her to get to a place where she can't even have sex. So remember, it's a system, it's complicated. There is a chance that seeking medical treatment or the advice of a professional, whether that's a therapist or a coach, could make all of the difference. So please do not hesitate to reach out for help and call in the experts. And there you have it, 5 of my top reasons that female people struggle to orgasm. And remember, if you are a partner to a woman, you can do so much to improve her sexual experience, to improve her odds of having an orgasm, to increase the amount of pleasure that she is experiencing. And in doing so, you will not just be a better lover for her, you will be an actor on the planet that is helping to close this orgasm gap and make our entire society a better place for women from the perspective of pleasure, safety itself, That's kind of cool. So I invite you to do that. If you're already subscribed to this channel, you're probably already a warrior fighting along that path. If you want to join my army of pleasure warriors, check out my men's group, High Performance Male. You get access to me and a team of world-class coaches that are there to make you even better lovers than you ever thought possible, as well as help you overcome your people pleasing, develop better communication skills, get to the places that you are trying to go, or just create an environment for you to brag on what a bomb-ass lover you already are and share tips and techniques with other guys. I'm Caitlin B. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you here next week.